Today's disaster prompted one of the biggest rescue efforts in New York City's history. Almost 100,000 people were believed to be in the World Trade Center, Manhattan's biggest office complex. Outside, the city's emergency systems rushed into place. But inside, safety systems that were supposed to help failed. Jim Hickey reports.
Watch out, watch out, watch out.
When disaster hit, people who work in one of the most famous building complexes in the world just naturally expected the emergency systems to help them escape would be there. Instead, many were left in the dark.
Hey, Chief, where you going? Which one? Where?
We're all trying to go down, and all of a sudden the lights go out. And like I said, it was black as pitch. You couldn't see anything. And that's when people started to scream then.
We heard an explosion, all the lights went out. And then they come in and 2 seconds later say, leave now, or if you stay at your own risk. That's all they told us. And at one point even the lights went out in the staircase. Horrible.
This evening, investigators told Nightline that a major conduit carrying cables for the primary and backup emergency systems was located right next to where the blast occurred. They said the conduit was heavily damaged.
The heating units, the boiler units, any type of cables, any type of piping, any type of conduits were all torn out by the force of the explosion.
After the initial shock of the explosion, the biggest problem was the smoke. It billowed up the stairs, through air conditioning ducts, pouring into the World Trade Center offices high above the ground.
As soon as we walked out, the whole hall was full of smoke, and then people just started running down the stairwell.
We opened up the last elevator, and there were 10 people just laying on the floor. And we thought, at first, we found 10 bodies. And it appeared they were all we heard was one woman cry. And she cried, and we went in there and we started getting everybody out. We took our masks off and put that on them for air and got them all out of the elevator and called for help. And they came in there, but it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
People were passing out, and it was horrible. It was horrible. You couldn't see anything until like the second floor. It was like all smoky and foggy, and you were breathing it in. And
in modern high-rises, that is not supposed to happen. Stairwells are pressurized to keep smoke out. Special built-in purges are designed to prevent smoke from traveling floor to floor. But architects point out these buildings, after all, are not new.
The World Trade Center was built in the 60s and was built under different codes than today. It's common practice today. And a stair tower today is under positive pressure, under air pressure. In those days, it wasn't pressurized. It still isn't today. In other words, it wasn't designed for positive pressure. And so as a result, smoke easily gets into the stair tower.
People trapped in the buildings may have made their predicament worse by smashing outside windows to get fresh air and to wave for help. Those windows are not designed to open, and breaking them may have created a chimney effect, causing even more smoke to pour through the buildings. Adding to the chaos, office workers said after the explosion ripped through the parking garage beneath the World Trade Center, lights went out, even some emergency exit lights. And although people on the topmost floors felt and heard the blast, many complained they never heard any kind of alarm system. With so many people in the complex, some engineers say that is not surprising.
Those systems are not set up to deal with thousands of people going through the stairwell at one time. There may be some research that should be done on how to make those systems more audible and look at how you would evacuate the people in a more orderly fashion.
It also turns out that the power company turned the electricity off at the request of the fire department to prevent more fires from breaking out.
We shut down the electricity. That's a safety factor that we're concerned because we have fire, we have water, we don't want electricity. Once we determine that the conditions have stabilized, we'll turn on the electricity.
In the days to come, there will be questions about whether 20-year-old building codes are still relevant. And as suspicion grows that the explosion was caused by a bomb, architects say that when the World Trade Center was built, no one was thinking about terrorism.
If you had codes that were written to prevent terrorist acts, you would not, for example, put a garage under a building.
Structural engineers also point out if an explosion or bomb is big enough, it doesn't matter how strict the codes are or how sophisticated the backup systems may be. This is Jim Hickey for Nightline in New York.